Shalom, Israel. It's your brother Tavon with Believers of the Way, Baltimore, coming at you with another lesson. And today's lesson is going to be titled Fringes, Proof and Why We Wear Them. Our Lord, I pray that everybody is having a blessed day. It's a little warm outside, so I pray everybody staying hydrated wherever you are. If you're in the heat, and for all of those that may have a little bit of cold, I hope y'all staying warm. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Abba through His Son Yahushua HaMashiach. And let's jump right into it, Israel. I'm gonna start off with let's start off with 1 Thessalonians 5, chapter 5, and verse 21. And it reads, "Prove all things, hold fast that which is good." So once again, we're gonna be using our Bible, and today I'm gonna be bringing out a scripture from our Apocrypha, which is also lawful. Our Apocrypha is definitely lawful. And this title of the title of this lesson, once again, is going to be Fringes, Proof and Why We Wear Them. It's going to be probably going to be a little shorter than usual, but Lord willing, you guys will be edified, and we'll have a good understanding of why we wear fringes after this. Let's jump right into it. Let's go to Numbers, the book of Numbers, chapter 15. And we're going to start at verse 37. Numbers 15 and start at verse 37 to verse 38. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 15, verse 37 and to verse 38. And it reads, "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments, throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue." So what that looks like, Israel, just give you a quick glimpse. That just looks just like that. And it's just supposed to go all the way around. All the way around our shirts. You put little slits on the side if you need to. But, put them on our shirts, put them on our garments, put them on our jackets, our hoodies, our coats. For our sisters, I don't want to exclude y'all sisters. Put them on your dresses. Put them on your t-shirts. If we at home and everything, we could we wear tank tops and everything. We could put them on our tank tops or our little lounge shirts when we're at home, so we'll always have them on us. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 12. Book of Deuteronomy 22, and we're going to start at verse 12. Oh, my goodness. Going a little too fast. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, and we're starting at verse 12. You shall make you yourself fringes upon the four quarters of thy vestures, wherewith you covers yourself. I just pretty much showed y'all my shirt. So that means that I know people say they wear sits and things like that. I'm not against it, or whatever. Like we haven't been told that we can't wear them, but it's best to just get the whole fringe and put it on your whole garment. That's what's best, From there, let's go to let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17 to 20. The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17 to 20. I just want to get some clarification on this. "Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill." This is lawful. We just now read it in Numbers 15, 37 to 38. It's lawful for us to wear fringes. It is a commandment that we wear fringes. It's not done away with. The law is not done away with. Neither is the law or the commandment for us to wear fringes, Israel. Let's just be for real. So from there, let's jump right into it, into the bulk of the lesson. So this part is going to be proof of wearing fringes. So we're gonna stay in the book of Matthew. So we're gonna get proof that the Lord wore fringes. The Lord Himself wore fringes. So if the Lord wore them in His time and in His day, and it was lawful, fringes go all the way back to the times of Moses when we was in Egypt. I don't have any pictures or anything right now, but there are pictures and everything of hieroglyphs with our ancestors in Egypt wearing fringes. So they go all the way back to the time of Moses, and even if you want to dispute that, well, they go back to the time of the Lord, and we're gonna prove it right here. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 14, and verse 36. Well, let's read up some. 34. This is the book of Matthew chapter 14, and let's start at verse 34. And where they were gone over, they came into the land of Gennesaret. Verse 35. And when the men of that place had knowledge of him, they sent out into all that country round about, and brought unto him all that were diseased. Verse 36. And besought him that they might only touch the hem of his garment, as many touched were made perfectly whole. That's proof, right? That's proven right there that the Hamashiach, the Christ, the Lord himself, wore fringes. And just to give you a little education, you can go to the Strongs. This is the Greek and the Strongs. I got this off of Bible Hub, number 2899, and this is for him. And him equals fringe or the border of a garment. So the Strongs in the Greek, him is 2899, and that's a fringe and the border of his garment. So this is proving that they even brought the sick, and it's accounts in Mark and Luke as well, where a woman who had a blood issue, she just wanted to touch the Lord's garment, touch his fringe of his garment, and she was healed instantly. So this is proof that even the Lord wore fringes. Let's stay in the book of Matthew, and let's go to chapter 23, and start at verse 1 and 2. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 23, verse 1 to verse 2. Then spake Yahshua to the multitude and to his disciples, verse 2, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit at Moses' seat. Excuse me. Yes, the scribes and the Pharisees sit at Moses' seat. Therefore, verse 3, all therefore whatsoever they bid you observe and do, but do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. So this is proof. This is also proof that even the scribes and the Pharisees of that time also wore fringes. It said that they enlarged their fringes. They enlarged them, like they wanted to be seen. They made their fringes and their ribbons of blue as big as they could be. So this is proof that the Lord wore fringes. It's proof that the scribes wore fringes and the Pharisees wore fringes as well. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy 22 and 12. I think I kind of skipped over that a little bit. I apologize. And even if I didn't, it won't hurt to read it again. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, and verse 12. You shall make thee fringes upon the four quarters of your vesture, wherewith thou coverest thyself. I showed y'all my shirt a little bit earlier, but the four corners, I probably did do this, but it don't hurt to go over it again, just real quick. Just make sure that you have that it goes around all the way around, all the way around your shirts, your t-shirts, your tank tops, sisters, your dresses, y'all shirts and t-shirts, your coats, your jackets, your hoodies, whatever your outerwear and things of that nature. It's good to have it there. So from there, that's proof that that the Lord wore fringes, the scribes and the Pharisees wore fringes, and that during the time when the fringes were given to us, when we were in the wilderness and everything, when the Lord gave it to Moses for us to wear, that we wore fringes. It's proof of it. So from there, like I say, I apologize. Let's go into why do we wear fringes, and we're gonna go into our apocrypha, and in our apocrypha, we're gonna go to the book of Ecclesiasticus, or the book of Sirach, as some call it, the book of Sirach, and we're gonna go to chapter 19, verse 29, and we're gonna start at verse 29 all the way to verse 30, and it reads, "A man may be known by his look, and one that hath understanding by his countenance. When thou meetest him, verse 30, a man's attire and excessive laughter and gait show what he is. So when you see somebody with fringes, let's just automatically give our brothers and sisters the due diligence and say, you can automatically just look at that person and say shalom. It compels you to say shalom or shalom. It compels you to greet your brother and your sister. You should greet all brothers and sisters. But it compels you more because you know that that's somebody who's keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Righteously. That's righteously keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. You can tell by a person by their look. I'm not want to go too deep, but you could tell a police officer by their attire. You could tell a public servant, by their attire. You could tell people by the attire that they wear. And most of the time, if we see another brother or sister in our fringes, then we could tell, more than likely we'll be able to distinguish that that's a brother or sister that's in the truth. Let's keep on moving. Going back into our Bible. We're going to go back to the book of Numbers, chapter 15, verse 39 to 40. Numbers 15, chapter 15, verse 39 to 40. And it reads, and it shall be unto you, for this is why we wear the fringes. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart, and your own eyes, after which ye used to go a whoring. Verse 40, that ye may remember and do all my commandments, and be holy unto your God. So the Lord gave us this fringe so we don't go a whoring with our eyes, with our mouth. It's kind of hard, in our thoughts, because we have so many thoughts running through our minds. But if you touch on this fringe and you remember this fringe, that's what they there for, to remind you when you start, going off in your mind. Just remember these laws, statutes, and commandments, Israel. Just try to remember the commandments. That's what it's there for, to remind you not to commit an idolatry, adultery, or breaking any of the commandments in general. Let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 6, and let's start at verse 1 to 3. Deuteronomy 6, chapter 6, verse 1 to 3. And it reads, now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which the Lord your God commanded to teach you, that ye might do them in the land whither you go to possess it. Verse 2. That you might fear the Lord thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee, you and your son and your son's sons, and all the days of thy life, that thy days may be prolonged. Verse 3. Hear therefore, O Israel, if you are part of Israel, this pertains to you specifically, and observe to do it, that it may be well with thee, and that ye may increase mightily, as the Lord God of thy fathers hath promised thee, in the land that floweth with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Let's jump down to verse 5 to 9. And you shall love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in your heart. Verse 7. And you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and shall talk of them when you sittest in your house, and when you walkest by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. And you shall write them upon the posts of your house and on your gates. So this is just letting us know, Israel, that the Lord also gave these fringes because he wants us to always remember these commandments, laws, statutes, ordinance, and judgments. And we should always keep them in our hearts and always keep them in our minds. There is going to come a time where he's going to write it in our hearts and write it on our minds, and it's going to be there forever. We're going to know it front, back, side to side. But until then, we have to read, to study, to show ourselves approved. We have to read them and learn them and keep them and teach them to our sons and our daughters and so on and so forth. And this is perpetually, this is throughout our generations. It's throughout our generations. And let me give you a quick definition of generations. Generation, the continual production of something. As long as we having kids, as long as we having grandkids, so on and so forth, as long as this earth going and we constantly reproducing, that's generation after generation after generation. We're supposed to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, and part of it is to wear these fringes, Israel. Okay? From there, let's go back to the book of Exodus. Well, no. Exodus 20. Exodus 20. Those are the 10 commandments. Those are the 10 commandments. I want you to just go through Exodus 20 and read that in your free time. Whenever you get free time, read the book of Exodus and read it all the way through. Exodus 20 and read it all the way through. Those are the 10 commandments. Those are the easiest ones to remind us and to keep our fringes. Besides this, Numbers 15, to keep our fringes on us, to remind us when we having hard times and we going through. Just try to remember the 10 commandments. You dig? Read that in your free time, Exodus 20. From there, let's go to Psalms 106 and 3. Psalms chapter 106 and 3, Israel. Psalms chapter 106 and 3. It's a little warm out today, Israel. I pray y'all staying hydrated. If y'all somewhere hot, I pray y'all staying hydrated. If y'all somewhere cool, I pray y'all staying somewhere warm. You know, make sure you stay hydrated at all costs. It's warm here in Baltimore. This is the book of Psalms chapter 106 and verse 3. We start at verse 3. Blessed are they that keep judgment, and that doeth righteousness at all times. So blessed. So we also wear these fringes to remember to keep the judgments in our minds. Not only keep the law, statutes, and commandments in our minds, but remember the judgments. Remember the judgments, whether they're good or bad, that can come from keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. And always try your best to diligently walk in righteousness throughout your life, throughout whatever life that we have, Israel. Always just remember to be righteous. Be righteous in your walk. Let's go to the book of John, St. John. Let's go to chapter 14 and start at verse 14. The book of John, chapter 14, and let's start at verse 14. This is the book of John, chapter 14, and verse 14, and we're going to read from verse 14 all the way to 17, Israel. And it reads, if you shall ask anything in my name, I will do it. Verse 15. If you love me, keep my commandments. Wearing our fringes is a commandment, Israel. It is a commandment. We just read it in Numbers 15, 37, all the way to 40, really. It is a commandment. Verse 16. And I will pray the Father, and he shall give you another comforter, that he may abide with you forever. Verse 17. Even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it seeth him not, neither knoweth him. But ye know him, for he dwelleth with you, and shall be in you. So I got that verse, Israel, that if you love the Lord, saying if you love him, you're going to keep his commandments. If you say, I love the Lord, oh, I love the Lord, I love the Most High God. If you truly do one of the commandments, this is the lesson that we're going over, is fringes. So there's no confusion. Part of the commandments that he gave us is wearing our fringes, Israel. Not just some of the days, not just half of the days. And I'm convicting myself as well. I'm not above reproach. I'm not above any of you brothers or you sisters. I fall short as well. I still got some fringes to get and some work to do as well, you know, when it comes to my fringes. So this is also for me. This lesson is for myself as well. We need to get, at least if you can, try to get like 7 shirts, Israel. That's at least a shirt for every day of the week. You dig? And you can go to arts and crafts stores, or you can hit the brothers at Believers of the Way 144K at gmail.com, and they can try to help get you, ship you out some shirts with some fringes on it. You dig? So that's why I went to this one. The Lord said, if we love him, if we say we love the Lord, let's keep his commandments. And part of these commandments, is part of this lesson, is wearing our fringes, Israel. Don't be ashamed. It's for us. The Lord gave it to us for a reason, and we reading those reasons now. From there, let's go to Proverbs 7, verse 1 to 2. The book of Proverbs, chapter 7, verse 1 through 2. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 7, verse 1. My son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with thee. Verse 2. Keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of thine eye. Let's keep reading. Bind them upon thy fingers and write them upon the table of thy heart. Verse 4. Say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman. So that's also part of it. The Lord, once again, the Lord have to repeat things to us, Israel, over and over and over, because we're stiff-necked, hard-headed people. He had to tell us again and again, and I'm telling you again and again, rhetorically, get your fringes, wear your fringes, Israel. Put your fringes on your shirts, your coats, your jackets, on your garments. You know, for our sisters, I don't want to exclude y'all. You know, wear them on your dresses, wear them on your garments, wear them on your, you know, on your outer garments and everything, on your shirts and everything, and just make sure you have your fringes. Just it's a part of the commandments, and that's why we going over this lesson now. From there, let's go to the mighty book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17 to 20. Matthew chapter 5, verse 17 to 20. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17, all the way to verse 20. Listen to this really, really careful, Israel. Listen to this. I'm going to read from 17. I'm going to finish it off, though. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Verse 18. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle, and no wise shall pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Verse 19. Whosoever there shall break one of these least commandments. One of the least commandments. Fringes is one of the absolute least commandments. Not saying it's an unnecessary commandment. It's a local, not to put any commandments down. But fringes is one of the least commandments. It's one of the easiest commandments besides the 10 commandments that you can keep and that you can do. It's just getting some fabric and attaching it to your shirt and putting a ribbon of blue. You got all different kinds of colors you can get. Just make sure you got that ribbon of blue on there, Israel. You know, it's one of the least commandments. And let's finish reading. Verse 19 at the top. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say unto, verse 20, for I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees. We read about them. They emboldened and made their phylacteries and their fringes as big as they could be, but wasn't keeping none of what they was teaching. And the Pharisees, and shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. I'm going to do 20 over again. For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. That's plain upon tables, as clear as day. That's a least. Keeping our fringes on us, having our fringes on us is one of the least commandments, Israel. And the Lord command us to do it. And let's just go back. I want to go back. Let's just go back one more good time. Back to Numbers 15. Show us why we do it. Just so we have a clear, concise understanding. Numbers 15, and let's start at verse 30. Let's start at verse 37. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. Verse 39. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart, and your own eyes, after which ye used to go a whoring. Verse 40, that ye may remember and do all my commandments and be holy unto your God. And last but not least, let's go to the book, the book of Psalms, back to the book of Psalms. Psalms chapter 119 and 44. I apologize, Israel. Lord willing, y'all being edified. Everybody having a blessed and a beautiful day. All is going well for you. Lord's will. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 44. And it reads, so shall I keep thy law continually forever and ever. These laws are forever. We just now read in Matthew 5:17 to 20. The laws are not done away with. We also read that whoever breaks one of these least commandments and teach others to do so, somebody, oh, you ain't got to wear your fringes, you can just wear zeets, whatever. What did the Lord say? Whoever so break one of these least commandments, that's a least commandments, to wear your fringes. It's not a fashion statement. It is a commandment from our Father, the Most High God. You understand what I'm saying? For us to wear them, and we wear it. We just read over again why we wear it. And Numbers 15, Numbers chapter 15, verse 37, all the way to verse 40. And in your free time, go over Exodus 20 and read those 10 commandments. This is a least commandment. You put them on your shirts, you put them on your jackets, your garments, sisters, on your dresses and your garments. Just make sure you wear your fringes, Israel. That was this lesson. This lesson was called Fringes, Proof, and Why We Wear Them. Lord willing, you guys were edified. I pray that y'all stay hydrated, that y'all having a blessed week thus far. And I love y'all, Israel. Shalom.